What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Peterson, and on today's episode, we're going to look at the way the AFC playoff picture looks right now for the 8-4 Baltimore Ravens after the win on Monday night against the Los Angeles Chargers. Will things shape up? How do I expect things to look at the end of the season? Stay tuned if you want answers to all of those questions. And before that, I need you to not jinx it for me, okay? If you think the Ravens will win a playoff game, and if you want the Ravens to win a playoff game, go ahead and like the video, okay? I need to see like 300 likes or something, okay? And if I don't see 300 likes, then I get the message you guys don't want them to win a playoff game. But if you do, like the video. We're going to start today's episode by looking at the AFC North standings as they sit right now, okay? So not a lot of movement standing-wise, but some movement in the wins and losses column, okay? Steelers lost a big one, or should I say Browns won a big one last Thursday in Cleveland. Snow game was kind of electric. But Steelers still first. They're at 8-3. Ravens, after that big Monday night win, they're second, 8-4, just one win away and one loss away for the Steelers from jumping them in that standings. Bengals, they're 4-7. They're kind of cooked. Browns 3-8. They've been cooked since mid-September. So that's the way they're standing right now. But how does this playoff picture look just as a whole in the entire AFC? Well, you got KC in that number one seed. They're sitting at 10-1. The Bills creeping up right behind them. They're at 9-2. They won the head-to-head. That's going to be something interesting to watch throughout the rest of this season. Then you got the Steelers in that third spot, sitting at 8-3. The Texans, they're at 7-5, and they're lucky they play in probably the worst division of football because they've been playing some bad football recently. But then you take a look at the wild card, you see ours truly sitting at 8-4. Then the Chargers 7-4, they're in number 6 spot. And the Broncos, as of right now, are taking that last spot on the AFC side, sitting at 7-5. But Miami, watch out for them. They're playing good ball, and who knows, maybe Indy can figure some things out. But if you look at this and just the way it sits right now, I think there's some room for some movement for Baltimore, okay? I think that a lot of the division leaders, and namely Pittsburgh, and honestly, not even a lot of them, really just Pittsburgh. I think that's the only division in the AFC that's kind of up for challenge, okay? I think the Bills are locked in where they are. I think the Texans are locked in the AFC South. But I think that Baltimore can make a move. And honestly, I feel pretty good and feel pretty satisfied with where they're sitting right now. We'll get into that in all just a little bit more. But if you feel good about where they're sitting right now, go ahead, give me a yes in the comment section. If you don't, give me a no, okay? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's YouTube video. You might get hit with a YouTube ad break, and when that ad break comes, take advantage of that time, scroll down the comment section, find this pinned comment, and give me a Y or an N. Let's look at the remaining schedule that Baltimore's got, okay? And it's not the easiest, but also it's not like it's an absolute gauntlet. You got the Week 13 matchup against Philadelphia. That's coming up on Sunday. That one's going to be a really fun one. I'm excited about that one. Then Week 14, you got a bye week. You get 2 weeks off before you play the Giants. Then you play the Steelers at home. You go on the road Christmas Day against the Texans. And then you have the Browns in Baltimore for the last game of the season on January 5th. And when I look at those 5 games, I think you got to at least go 3-2, okay? I think you can afford to lose 2 of those. I don't think you can afford to lose 3 of them. Well, I think maybe you can afford to, but I just don't think you want to. I don't think you should lose 3 of those games. I think you should at the least win 3 of them. If I'm looking at ceilings and what I believe and what I think, guys, I think they can win every single one of those. I really do. I know it's going to be hard. Eagles are playing great football right now. You just lost to Pittsburgh, okay? Houston, I know they're not playing the greatest football this season, but they're still going to be a tough team, and that's on a short week as well. So I still think the ceiling, though, is 13-4. I think you could win every single one of those games. The floor, however, I think is 10-7. Okay, I think that's the absolute floor, is only winning 2 of them. And that means you beat the Browns, you beat the Giants, you lose to the Eagles, to the Steelers, and the Texans. I think that's the absolute floor. Now, my prediction for the rest of this season, I think 12-5, okay? I think 12-5. I think you win 4 of those games. I think you only lose 1 of them. Now, which ones are those? I'll tell you right now. I think you win against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I put in those parentheses close because I think it's going to be a really close game. Two really physical brands of football, two star running backs, two star quarterbacks. Can't wait to break that one down for you guys later this week. And then you win on the road against New York. I mean, they're pretty much giving up on their season, aren't they? Starting Tommy DeVito. Like, are you kidding me? So, if you don't win that one, like, don't screen record this because I don't want to quit, but if you don't win that one, I'm quitting. Week 16 against the Steelers, I think you win that one at home. I think that's what does it for you, and I think you had an ample amount of opportunities to beat the Steelers on the road. You just kind of shot yourself in the foot. I do think you lose Week 17 against the Texans. And not because, like, they're so much better than you, but that would be the third game Baltimore plays in the span of 10 days, okay? You play Sunday against the Giants, then 6 days later you play against the Steelers on a Saturday, and then 4 days later you play against the Texans on a Wednesday, okay? So because it's a short week, because it's on the road, I think at that point the Texans, I don't think they're going to be playing for a divisional spot, but I think there's going to have a little bit of more fire on their butts because who knows? The Colts might challenge them for that division. And then week 18, I should say, game 5 in these last 5 games, I think you round it out with a win at home against the Browns. So I think you go 4-1 in this final stretch with big wins over the Eagles and over the Steelers, and I think you lose that one in Houston just because of the circumstances, because it's your third game in 10 days. So what is the Ravens' record through the final 5 games? I gave you mine. I said 4-1. Now I want to hear what yours is. You let me know in the comment section down below. I got to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and those are our friends over at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place for the most fun and exciting daily fantasy sports. And right now, Prize Picks is always putting its members first, and you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. And all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts, like on Thanksgiving. Tyreek Hill gets 1 receiving yard, you win that square. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions, into real money all season long right here on Prize Picks. Take a look at my picks that I've got for Thanksgiving, because what's better than just sitting with a roll, some mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, turkey, pumpkin pie, and watching some good football. So I did add that Tyreek Hill square in there because you know what? 1 receiving yard, you win that. So I put the more on that. Cooper Rush, I think I've got the less on passing yards for him. He played well against Washington. I think the Cowboys kind of fall off a cliff after that win against Washington. I think they lose to the Giants. Oops, I said it. And then I got the more on Josh Jacobs rushing yards with 73.5. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Don't worry, guys. I put the rest of my mic cord in my pocket, so no more knocking my head off because I step on my cord. But regardless, we crossed 23,000 subs on the Monday night game against the Chargers. First off, I just want to say thank you to you all, everybody who's subscribed to the channel already. I really do appreciate it. And if you aren't subscribed, join the family now. Join the flock before it's too late. It'll never be too late. But help us get to 24K. So I think the question is, after looking at the playoff picture, looking at the remaining schedule, is can the Baltimore Ravens win this division? And I think the answer to that question is a big fat yes. Because if you look at the rest of the teams that Pittsburgh has on their schedule, in my opinion, they've got a much, much tougher remaining schedule than Baltimore does. First off, they got to play 6 games because they already had their bye compared to our 5. And they only really get 1 gimme game. And I say gimme game. It's against the Browns. They just lost to them. But they really only play 1 team that I would say is very beatable. Because they have to play the Bengals twice. They still have to play us. And then they play in Philadelphia. And then week 17, they host the Chiefs. And honestly, of those 6 games, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost 4 of them. Honestly, I kind of wouldn't even be surprised if they lost 5 of them. Now, do I think that'll happen? No. I think they'll probably win some ones they shouldn't. And I think they might lose some ones that they shouldn't either. but I wouldn't be surprised if there was 4 losses. Now, you looked at theirs, and you looked at our schedule, you looked at Pittsburgh's schedule, you saw the playoff picture as a whole. Let's look at the current matchups, okay? Because this is the way it sits again. We'll show you this, refresh you. You got KC in the 1 spot, you got Buffalo in the 2, you got Pittsburgh in the 3, Texans in the 4, Ravens in the 5, Chargers in the 6, and Broncos in the 7. So as of right now, if the season ended today, this would be the matchups. The number 1 Chiefs, they would get the bye. Then the 7 Broncos would play in Highmark Stadium and take on the Buffalo Bills. The Chargers would travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, and then the Ravens would travel to Houston to take on the Texans. Would be the second time they make that trip to Houston. I don't mind that matchup with the Texans. Okay? You played them last year in the playoffs, you beat them. The end of their season. Now that game was at home, so that made that a little bit easier. But still, you beat them in the playoffs already. I think they're worse than they were last year this year. I think they've taken a big regression, so I wouldn't mind that matchup at all. But this is kind of what I expect, okay? I expect the Bills to kind of make a late postseason run. The Chiefs have won 5 of their 10 games on the last play of the game. So I think they drop a couple more games, that maybe even the ones they shouldn't. They almost lost last week against the freaking Panthers. So I think the Bills will be the number 1 seed. I think they get the bye. Then I think Broncos take on the Chiefs. I think Chargers take on the Ravens, okay? So I think we sneak in and get that number 3 spot and win the AFC North. And then the Steelers are the ones traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. You know what? I wouldn't mind that matchup either. You just beat them in SoFi Stadium. And honestly, if it weren't for that garbage time touchdown, you dominated that game for pretty much the entirety of that second half. So this is kind of what I expect. And honestly, I would like this matchup. If you think the Ravens win the AFC North and get that number 3 seed, go ahead and do me a favor and like the video. Appreciate all you guys watching. If you guys haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with another video tomorrow.